Hey everybody, this video is going to be dedicated to understanding the list comprehension syntax. And I would say this is probably more of an advanced feature, so if you're brand new, don't really feel like you have to have it mastered, but if you're following along, let's try to conquer this and understand every single piece. So we used it in the previous video, but we kind of glossed over it. But first, let me just refresh what we were trying to do, and then we'll see how it works. So we had this backpack of items, and it has pizza, frozen custard, apple crisp, and kale chips. Then we have this other list, healthy, and it has kale chips and broccoli. And in my mind, I was like, I don't want to eat this junk food. I want to remove everything from my backpack that is not healthy, and then I just want to keep the kale chips. So you can think about it going through this list. Is pizza healthy? No, it's not. Toss it. Is frozen custard unhealthy? Nope, toss it. Is apple crisp unhealthy? Nope, toss it. Lastly, kale chips, that's unhealthy, we're going to keep that. So a shortcut to do that is this line right here. And when we run this, the only item left in backpack is kale chips. So to show you a pretty equivalent example, let's create this using a loop. So let's try to repeat this, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep the list comprehension syntax here, but we're going to do it using loops. And this is what it's going to look like. First thing is we're going to create a new list, so we'll just call it healthy underscore backpack for now. And we'll assign it an empty list. And we'll say for item in backpack, we're going to check to see if it's healthy. So if item in healthy, what are we going to do? We're going to say healthy backpack dot append and pass in the item. So this should do exactly the same thing. And then what we can do is we can print healthy backpack here at the end. So running this, and we still get kale chips. So we achieved the same thing, but this is a more concise syntax. Every piece of this loop structure here coordinates to a piece in this list comprehension. So let's go through it, and first we'll look at for item in backpack, and that coordinates to the loop. That's going to iterate through and grab each item. The next part coordinates to the if statement, if item in healthy, right here. And the last piece is a little bit shortened for us. All we have to put is item here at the beginning, and that coordinates to appending it to the list. If we wanted to modify the element, so for example, we said item dot lower, or maybe we did upper just to make it a little bit more visual here, you could do the same thing in the list comprehension, like so. In the loop variation, we're assigning it to a new list, which we could do exactly the same thing here with the list comprehension by saying healthy underscore backpack. So either one should do the trick, and just to prove it to you, we can run this now. We get kale chips, upper letters, and then if we were to get rid of this and go back to the list comprehension, run it now, and we still get kale chips in all capital letters. So it might take a little bit to get used to the syntax. I honestly stumbled over it when I was first learning it, and we can actually do a lot of different things with this here. So an example is, let's say we wanted to create a list of squares, and we made a loop for I in range up to 10, and we're not going to include 10, and what we're going to do is we are going to say I star star 2, which will square the number, and we can take this and we can append it to squares by saying squares dot append, and at the end we could say print squares. So running it, and you can see we get 0, 1, 4, 9, all the way up to 81. Notice our for loop doesn't have any if statements, so our list comprehension is going to be a little bit thinner than the last time. And this is what it's going to look like. We're going to get rid of that loop, and we're going to say for I in range up to 10, and then all we want to do with I, which we put at the beginning, is square it. So that's the syntax for that, and running it, and we get the exact same output. So that's your introduction to list comprehension. The very first thing in here is the expression, the result you want to get. Next up, we got the list or the iterable that it's coming from, and then optionally we have the condition to see if something is met on what elements you want to work with. So if you just wanted to work with even numbers, you would say if I modulus 2 is equal to 0. And when we run this, you get 0, 4, 16, 36, and 64. So that coordinates to 0 squared, 2 squared, 4 squared, 6 squared, and 8 squared. So we'll probably touch on that more in the future, but for now, we're gonna move on to some more basic stuff. Just wanted to give you a little bit of taste of that, and I'll see you in the next one.